So, Mark, did you see Derek Stevens up in the Goodyear Blimp overlooking Las Vegas, just cruising around, said it was a childhood dream of his? Life is good.
It's such a cool experience, and I'm sure the views were amazing. And I know people get to go in there from time to time, but most of us will never experience it. So I'm glad that he got to. And then, do you think ESPN will finally update their art so that from this video so that they're not showing stuff from 15 years ago?
The struggle is real, Mark. The struggle is real.
Oh, everybody wants to see Monte Carlo still.
Yeah, don't pay attention to our B-roll ever, please. So happy Friday, everyone. It's been a long time, Mark, since somebody jumped the fountains at Caesar's Palace. They announced that that's going to happen May 17th, and this is for the opening of the Alinea Day Club, that beautiful monstrosity of a building out on the Strip.
I like that they're doing this as throwback to the history of Vegas and has been jumped a couple times. Evel Knievel, of course, was the first one and crashed and burned a bit and almost died doing it. And that kind of like, I never realized that was kind of what catapulted him into international fame, was the crash there.
Yeah, that was a huge deal, obviously, before our time. But then his son, Robbie Knievel, did it in '89, and he did succeed in actually getting across them. And then in 2018, Travis Pastrana did it as well. So it's been completed twice. Evel Knievel failed. Here we go again, this time by Colby Raha. He's an X Game and motocross star. I love the fact that these fountains, they used to sort of be more out on their own. Now they've been encroached upon. But I love the fact that we're going back to Vegas history to open up this day club.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think it'll be a fun spectacle to see and a good way to kick off the new day club. You know, I did some research for the show after this, and it's kind of interesting to see that Evel Knievel's son pulled it off, and then he also did the Grand Canyon jump, which Evel Knievel always said he was going to do and never attempted. Have we heard anything about the Evel Knievel Museum anymore? I know we talked about it a while ago, but I don't remember, did it ever open?
The latest update is that they say early 2026 for opening. So I don't know an update if anybody out there has one. Is it close to opening? But Mark, you can still get that delicious piece of pie over at Evil Pie.
Oh, Sean, you just want to bring your hate out, don't you?
My hate is real. And speaking of hate, a lot of people love to hate on Las Vegas lately. We've talked about it a lot, but I saw this article in Nevada Independent. Vegas isn't greedy, it's cruel. And it's an editorial sort of about what Las Vegas is doing and how the economics have just made it sort of a cruel experience towards the visitors. How it used to be benevolent and you felt good even though you spent money. Now you're sort of leaving feeling like a victim.
Yeah, I can see that a bit. And it seems like, and this kind of goes into the whole mind of a gambler and things like that. Like, you used to lose money in Vegas, but you felt like, hey, I'm getting good comps. I got my meal taken care of, my room taken care of. Like, it was worth it, even though I could have bought all that stuff for cheaper than what I lost at the tables. I had fun gambling and I got all this other stuff. So it kind of felt like a all-in-one experience, where now part of it's probably technology. They've gotten better of finding that cutoff of what they need to offer that people will come back. Part of it's probably people don't care about the freebies as much. If they're going for the high-end customer, they're gambling, and hey, free $200 room doesn't really matter to them as much as it did to people like us growing up. So I think that they've lost some of that, but they have these systems in place. I'm sure it's proving out to them, or at least has up until this point, that they were making more money doing it the way they were doing it.
Yeah, I think they're making more money, that's for sure. But I found this quote in the article really interesting. You're the customer they're willing to tolerate while they wait for somebody who will spend more to take your seat. And that does feel a lot like Las Vegas today. Really well said.
Yeah, I think that really hit home. And I think that's what everybody probably feels a little bit, but hasn't been able to articulate it in that way. So I agree with you there.
Well, we did it. Hopefully, by the time you're watching this video, we hit 60,000 subscribers, so I can shut up now. But go ahead and subscribe anyway. Thanks to everybody for helping us grow, for watching all of our shows. Truly appreciated.
Thanks, everybody.
So it wouldn't be an episode of MTM Vegas without talking about Vanderpump. And we have some carpet related to Vanderpump too. I'm so excited, Mark. But before we do that, let's talk Vanderpump Tour. I saw this from Chris Holmes, and he shared that you can get this passport, Vanderpump passport, go to each of the locations. It doesn't seem like you have to make a purchase. He says you can just go to the host or hostess and they'll stamp it for you. And then once you get the 3 stamps, you can give it to them. You're entered into a drawing to go to the VIP opening of Vanderpump Hotel, 2 nights at a Caesars hotel. So a nice thing. And hey, Caesars didn't make you buy anything.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun. And if you're walking around or if you haven't seen all the locations, it gets you kind of checking them out. And I'm sure they'll get people going in and having a drink while they're there, or if it's one they haven't been to before. I know that you wish that they gave you a little something for completing it, and maybe they can't, because if it's free, they don't want to give you something for just walking around. But if you got a drink from each one, it'd be kind of cool if you got like a little memento for doing that as well, or an extra drawing or something.
Either way, this seems like it's the year of Vanderpump, right? I mean, they're going all in on this before Tillman Fertitta takes over and puts Rainforest Cafe everywhere.
I don't think that will go with the new carpet.
But staying on Vanderpump, apparently the new carpet is going in over at the old Cromwell, the old Bills and Barbary Coast, and it's very purple. And all I see is this small clip. I saw it shared by a few people. I definitely saw Vital Vegas share it. Somebody wrote to me and said that there's more carpet going in and new lights in there as well, but didn't send me pictures. So I'm going to try to get over there, try to get you guys better footage. All I have to judge this is this video, and I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see how it all comes together. We knew that it was going to be lighter in there. We talked about how they repainted the Cove ceiling where the lights were and pulled down all the red stuff, and we're assuming that they're putting lighter colored lampshades in there. And this kind of goes with the same color scheme of the rooms. I mean, it looks pretty. I just don't know how well it will hold up. That color seems a bit light for the type of traffic that they're going to get there. But we also have to see what it all looks like when it's all together.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very Vanderpump sort of design, so it's not like out of the realm of what you would expect. The purple, I don't know. I kind of like it, and then I'm like, how will this look stretched out through an entire thing? But based on these colors and what you're seeing, the red's got to be gone, right? All the red has to be gone by the end of this.
Rest in peace, sexy.
Sexy red, sexy purple. I mean, what do you guys think of this? I think it could go well or not. I'm imagining it's going to look great because all of the spaces that they put together have been great. So let us know what you guys think below. But there is your carpet update of the show. Someone commented on the last show that I'm way too obsessed with carpet, and that's not true, but you guys love it. I love it. Why not?
Everybody loves it now. Seems like everybody's talking about carpet these days.
It's a great thing, Mark. Casino carpet. Who knew? But let's talk ridiculous food for a second and some viral videos we came across, starting with the $97 baked potato. I think Mr. Handpay shared this, and this is actually from Foxwoods in Connecticut, but it's at Martha Stewart's restaurant, of which we have one here in Las Vegas. And over there, it's $97, but I think here it's like $115 for the potato with the caviar on it. Is this ridiculous? He says it's delicious. It looks good to me.
That's the Vegas markup then. I mean, Connecticut's not a cheap place by any means. And we're talking like a 20% increase over top of there. And that kind of tracks with what we've noticed elsewhere when you compare Vegas prices to maybe somewhere else. Most of the cost is the caviar. I mean, $22 for a baked potato on its own is crazy. I don't know anything about caviar prices, so maybe it's not a terrible deal. Who knows?
Yeah, and actually I misspoke because I think it's $23 for the potato plus $115 for 1 ounce of caviar on top. So that makes it, $138 or so for the thing. But, Caesar salads all over the strip are like $25, $30 now. What's worse, a $23 potato or a $25 Caesar salad?
I don't know. Is it sacrilege to eat caviar on a baked potato?
If it's good caviar, eat it anywhere. If it's bad caviar, keep it away from me. Not that I know the difference. All right, so let's move on to Prime over at Bellagio, and this video went viral. This guy ate his $87 steak, which is the cheapest steak on the menu, sort of just complaining about how Vegas prices have jumped the shark. I saw a lot of local Vegas sort of people talking how a strategy that a lot of us use is splitting a steak, and I've done that. I do that pretty much every time now with my wife, or even our buddy Dave when we went to Golden Steer. It just doesn't make sense
pizza.
to pay so yeah, well. But it doesn't make sense. And then, you each get your own app and salad or whatever, and you share the steak. But it is getting ridiculous. I just don't know about going to Bellagio to the steakhouse and complaining about the prices.
I don't know that you can split a filet, though. I mean, it's pretty small. Yeah, I don't know. 87. I'm guessing it's a 10-ounce filet. I mean, I feel like if you go to a high-end steakhouse in a major city area, it's going to be in the $60 to $70 range. So we're not talking crazy. When we just talked about Martha Stewart, from one location to the next is like a $30 difference, even worse than the 20% I thought. So I don't think that this is like out of the realm. I mean, it's expected at Bellagio, isn't it?
Yes, the steakhouse at Bellagio. I mean, if you're going to have an expensive steak, that's going to be the place where it is. I don't know. I just chime in. I think that I don't think the guy was being rude or like sensational in any way. Don't blame him there, but I don't know what you can do. I mean, the steak prices are absolutely insane if you look at some of these steakhouses, but there's still so many places where a lot of people pointed out you can get a great steak for half the price.
Yeah, Ellis Island, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same quality. Absolutely perfect. So let's up the ante a second at Alinea. This is a 3 Michelin star restaurant from Chicago that has a pop up at Bellagio until May 31st. And they have this $600 tasting menu. And Las Vegas Phil went there, and you can spend much more with wine pairings. And this looks very interesting, I would say. Perhaps the most interesting thing is the gelatinous Chicago hot dog.
And I love that he's like, well, if you don't want to do the tasting menu, you can get the regular one for like $3.50. Like it's a deal. But I know that this is like a super popular restaurant, very hard to get into in Chicago, and people fall over themselves. And I kind of feel like, do you watch The Bear? I don't know if you watched the Forks episode, an amazing episode, one of the best episodes on TV in a long time. But I feel like restaurant that Richie's working in and doing, cleaning the spoons or silverware or whatever, is based off of this restaurant, is my guess. But it's just such a cool look behind the scene of what kind of service you get when you're going to a 3-star Michelin level restaurant, and they take it over top, and they like redo a Pequod's pizza in the show. So that kind of is cool that they're doing the hot dog here.
Yeah, all I know is I've had some tasting menus that look somewhat like this, and this restaurant looks incredible. And I always leave a little disappointed. Sometimes I like just
Hungry.
The $87 steak.
You leave hungry. That's what you leave.
Yes, you do. I'm not saying here it doesn't look great, but that hot dog, I don't know if it would fill me up quite like a real one.
Yeah, I mean that's part. It's all about the experience, and if you're into food and this is your thing, then I think you think it's worth it to you. And I get that. It's like the way that they present things and how you pop it and it rolls into. It's just crazy. Another level. It's basically art that you get to eat.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. We do a really fun after show every week. Plus, we have our money saving guide, tons of extra content. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. Thanks to everybody who supports us, helps us keep doing this. Really appreciate our community. But let's get outdoors. The weather is nice, Mark. We've had some nice spring weather here in Las Vegas. And this comes from Carrie Balicki, Emerald Cove. This is a really cool area that you can only get to on a kayak on the Colorado River. It's about 2 miles away from Willow Beach in Arizona. A few years ago, I did that Colorado River rafting from the dam kind of down to Willow Beach and passed right by this area, but you can only get in there with a kayak, and the water is emerald green. It looks fantastic, probably much better right now than it would be in a month or two.
Yeah, I bet you it gets pretty hot down there, especially if you're kayaking around. But no, this looks beautiful and something you wouldn't expect just to be that close to Las Vegas. And I think we try to show things like this often, and it seems like there's probably a lot of people that still come to Las Vegas and don't realize that there's so much natural beauty just outside the city limits. And this is pretty amazing. And I love water, so I'm all in.
Yeah, and for anybody who maybe you don't want to kayak or something, that dam tour I did a few years ago, it leaves from the Hoover Dam Lodge. Fantastic. I mean, the canyon walls rising above you, bighorn sheep everywhere. There's lots of cool places to stop as well, and just lots of secrets to be found. An area I think nobody really talks about. A lot of people go to the lake, but they don't go over to the river, and that's a different experience altogether.
Yeah, I know I've been saying I want to check that out when I have some time, and was hoping to do it with my son. We just don't have time on this upcoming trip, but it's on my list, my short list to get done.
Well, what's on my short list, Mark, is designing and building my own NBA arena, because it seems like everybody is doing that now. I just need a piece of land. I just need a few $100 million, and I will draw up something nice with AI. And all that to say is we have another arena. I think this is the 8th over the years. This is called the Las Vegas Diamond Arena, and this is located on the northeast corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Four Seasons Drive across from Mandalay Bay. There is a shopping center there now that they're going to tear out, and then this was back right up to the airport, for which they say, hey, private jets, all that sort of stuff. It is in the shape of a diamond, and they make a big deal. 21,212 seats would make it the largest NBA arena. And this is what they say. The size is a difference people will feel the moment they walk in. It's a defining advantage. More capacity means more energy. More energy means bigger moments. Bigger moments bring national and worldwide attention.
Isn't 21,000 kind of like all arenas?
Just a little bit. I think so. They're pretty close.
More. We have 50 more seats. I don't mind the location. I feel like that would be okay for traffic wise. What do you think on that? And then south end of the strip would get some love. So I don't hate the idea of it. It just seems like there's so much out there now. I don't know what even has a realistic shot anymore.
So the largest NBA arena with seating is the United Center in Chicago, has 20,000. 917 seats. So we're talking about 250 more seats or so
There you
than
go.
that. I mean, the diamond thing looks kind of cool. I think that LVXP is still the sexiest of all the arenas if we talk about architecturally. The location's fine. I mean, it is going to be right next to the A's ballpark, not far from the other one. Maybe not too much overlap in seasons, but just a little bit. I don't know. I just don't. You need an ownership group. You need all of this sort of stuff. It seems like the landowners and the developers are trying to put out a project and hoping one of the ownership groups globs onto them at this point. It's getting ridiculous, though. I mean, or how many more are we going to see before we actually get this team?
I've never seen anything like this before when you really think about it. Usually it's we're getting an expansion team, you have the owner, and then the owner kind of picks where they want to go, and maybe they get pitched a couple different ideas. But I've never seen where they're like, hey, if you build it, they will come. Like, we're just trying to get this lined up and hoping somebody picks us out of the bunch. I don't know. Like we've said numerous times, I think T-Mobile makes the most sense. It'd be the easiest transition and the ability to do it quickly. It works. So I'm still hoping they lean that way, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I have no idea how this is all going to go, but it is fascinating to see it. Jackie Robinson, he deserves a shout out. That's the guy who is behind the first version of AllNet and kept AllNet going for all those years. He was a visionary, knowing that we were going to eventually need an NBA arena. He was just 10 years too soon.
He's not that Jackie Robinson, right?
No, he's the UNLV famous Jackie Robinson. He's famous for bringing AllNet Arena to the Las Vegas Strip.
Nobody's moved a dirt with one truck quite like him.
Speaking of moving dirt, Mark, great transition. Pressure washing the festival grounds. I was flipping through YouTube and I saw this, and I think this guy just has a local pressure washing business. And I have this envision in my mind that he did a bid on this project and just did not know what he was getting into. And this is pressure washing the festival grounds after like the construction show, and there was dirt everywhere. And he shows it feels like you should have big trucks or something doing this, but he pressure washed it, got it all in the piles. Took him and his buddies 2 weeks. I wonder how much he bid for this project, and I wonder how much he hated himself every day of those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't enough unless he's done it before. But no, it's crazy. And then, well, hopefully he makes it back on the videos and people watching that. But I love these types of videos, like the pressure washing you see before, after, or where they come and cut like the grass of a house that's overgrown and stuff. So maybe he just did it for that. The content. It's all about the content, Sean.
Do you think at some point he thought, oh, I'll just spray all this stuff away, and then he realized he had to actually get it into piles and dig it out of there? Give this guy some business. I love the fact that the hustle is real, man. This is not an easy thing to do. I love the fact that he put this out there, and it's a unique kind of vision because 2 weeks to clean up for one show at the festival grounds.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that, and it's kind of cool to get a look behind the scenes.
Well, I think this next story is one that we manifested, Mark. We've been talking so much about Caesars Sportsbooks and where do they put William Hill? Where do they put Caesars? And you said most independent casinos have William Hill. And then the resort at Summerlin, boom, Caesars Sportsbook. And now Westgate, boom, is Caesars Sportsbook over the SuperBook. In fact, this might actually be Caesars' nicest sportsbook in town once they get this all done. Westgate says they're partnering with Caesars. They didn't announce any like huge renovations. The space is pretty nice, although I think it could use a little bit of a renovation there. But bringing the Caesars Sportsbook app, their menu of parlays and all that sort of stuff coming to Westgate. I mean, this was a big announcement, I think, in the sports betting space, one that was unexpected and I think a big get for Caesars.
Yeah, I mean, this was like the original OG huge sports book. I remember going there 20 years ago and just being at awe of like how much space there was and how over the top it was. And now you see Circa and everything. I think this kind of launched all those ideas. It's just been interesting to me that to see all these casinos lean so heavily into sports betting. We've talked about it a lot. They spend a lot of money either updating their sports book or when they're doing new builds like Durango and Circa, it's like a focus of it. Not so much Fontainebleau with that tiny crappy one in the back of the restaurant, but everybody else is focused on it. So you're thinking, okay, they must be making money here. And then more and more seem to be wanting, the independents seem to be wanting to get out of it. So maybe there's not as much money being made there as you would think. It's just an interesting how you're seeing both sides of this.
We did miss an opportunity here. It could have been Boomer's SuperBook, but no, unfortunately, Caesars took over. I think it's a good point on the independent operators and being able to compete. I saw Bill Krakenberger talk about this. Of course, he records there all the time. He's there all the time. He said some of the minds that run that book are some of the best in the business, and they'll probably lose their jobs. So an interesting sort of shakeup happening there? Where do those people land? But I think this is very notable. Maybe people who aren't into the Vegas sphere don't know this sports book as much. But I mean, like you said, this was the first sort of big giant sports book. It's still very famous. And it's a big get for Caesars. Another move of them going forward. And we can continue to ask the question, when do you choose William Hill? When do you choose Caesars Sportsbook? We don't know.
No one knows. They're just trying to pump it up so Tillman Fertitta has to pay more.
There you go. Let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about in the show. I mean, the Diamond Arena, do you think that looks cool? What is your favorite project? What's the best location? I know we've talked so much about it, but they keep announcing new arenas, so we have to keep bringing it up on the show. Caesars over at Westgate, the $595 tasting menu, that little gelatinous Chicago hot dog. Does that look good to you? Leave a comment. We do 3 shows a week, and I'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody.